All right, welcome in. We're live for the Alabama pregame for North Carolina, Sweet 16. You can see Jim Dunaway has made his way to Crypto.com Arena. Very underwhelming once you get there, according to Dunaway. His coverage in LA presented by MyBookie.ag, code next round, where Alabama, I'll check again, Dunaway, 4.5-point favorite, or 4.5-point underdog. It ticked up to 5 in our show, but down to 4.5. You can play it at MyBookie.ag, all the games tonight. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Also, the Autograph art app curates all the info from all your favorite teams. Autograph app, download it. It is free. Use code TNR when you download it. That helps us tremendously. How was it outside crypto there? Looks like a nice day.
It's a beautiful day, maybe the best weather day yet. Sunny, a little breezy, a swirling wind. I'm trying to use this wall of the old LA Coliseum as a tribute to the LA Kings as a windscreen here this afternoon, but it's a beautiful day. I did some head counts on my hangout out here. As you expected, Arizona fans outnumbering everybody, and then North Carolina fans. But on our platform, got interviewed 3 Alabama fans. I saw some at a few hotels. So there'll be some Alabama fans here tonight, but they'll at least be third. And we'll find out if they outnumber the Clemson folks. I've seen a few Clemson fans as well, but it's heavy Arizona, heavy North Carolina.
Well, Arizona right now a 6.5-point favorite, and North Carolina a 4.5-point favorite. MyBookie.ag for those lines. DB King says only 4.5 hours until tip-off. Will says, I'm going to have to go home and take a nap. These fans, they're worried about this late game. They're worried about staying up for this.
The guys are fine, though. They've been out here forever. Like, I went to dinner last night with the Crimson Tide Sports Network, and they were like, meet in the lobby at 7:30. And I was like, that's 9:30 back home. We're meeting in the lobby at 9:30? You guys are West Coast guys now. And, we ate dinner at 10 o'clock, my body clock last night. You get out here on the devil's time, and it gets a little wacky. But these guys have been here a while. So I don't think the Alabama players are going to worry about it too much.
Landmine Believer loves that the public is all over North Carolina. He has not seen one person take Bama. That is true. I think a lot of people think North Carolina is going to win this game. Lance has a play on this game. Not going to tip it off at lanceslock.com. I have talked to him, though. I know how he's leaning. lanceslock.com. But I think a lot of the experts, air quotes on that one, are on UNC in this.
Well, that's how you get to be the number 1 seed in the region, right? Few people ever go against the 1 seed unless they've seen something in the tournament that makes you think they're not going to play up to their seeding, and you have not seen that from this North Carolina team. In fact, they may be playing their best basketball these days than they have at some points during the ACC race. So I think it's really interesting that where this North Carolina team is, and they've got a really good player on the inside, and they got a really good player on the outside. So it works really good to where you get a little inside-outside action going on. I always have to check my surroundings. I apologize for that. It was a scary situation there. Inside-outside going on. They're a dangerous group. They've got the talent to win a national championship, no doubt. And Alabama will have their hands full. I always wonder, it ticked up, then it ticks back down. I don't know enough about gambling to know, is that a good sign for Bama or a bad sign? But I think it's a great sign for Bama that it's settled in around 4.5. That means the folks in Vegas think it's going to be a game, because I think, Brownie, I don't know about you, but if you're the name brand, like in football, Alabama gets a lot of extra points because they're the name brand, right?
Yep.
So if Alabama is like a 4.5-point favorite in a football game, I always think that's pretty darn close to pick 'em, because Bama is getting a lot of points just by being Alabama and the Nick Saban reputation. I feel like North Carolina being the 1 seed is getting that. So I think this comes down to almost a 1-point pick 'em type game tonight. And we'll see if Alabama can live up to what some of the people are expecting them to do tonight.
Lunsford says all the major handicappers he has seen are split on North Carolina Bama. So that's against a spread. That is maybe not necessarily to win outright, but against the spread, which probably tells you Vegas has set a pretty good number on this at 4.5 if the handicappers are split on it, right?
If the experts are split on like Lunsford says, and it's 4.5 and they're split, that means, under 1 minute, there's a good chance that Alabama's got the basketball with a chance to do something. And we talked on our show today, man, if Bama under the 4 timeout is within the point spread, 5 points after that last media timeout, I think we would all take that. Nate Oates would take it and just go play the game right now and for 4 minutes and see if you can outscore North Carolina for 4 minutes.
AK has been repping Bama all day in Charlotte, letting them North Carolinians know, he says. So AKM for the Tide up there in North Carolina.
Well, let me tell you, the first two guys I interviewed out here that were in Bama gear, you can see it on our platform. One of them's in a Colin Sexton jersey. So I walked up and talked to him. I said, hey, you're going old school. I mean, not that old school, but he had a Colin Sexton on. And I said, hey, where are you from? And he's like, Austin, Texas. And I was like, Austin, Texas? He goes, yeah, I just got accepted. I'm a senior in high school, and I enroll at Alabama in the fall. And I said, so you're from Austin, Texas. You're not even at Alabama yet, and you've traveled out here with your buddy who's a North Carolina fan to cheer on your future school? And he's like, yep. And I was like, roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. Then the next guy I talked to is down from Idaho.
He's a Bama guy?
Yeah, fell in love with Alabama watching football. He's probably in his late 20s. And just to show you the power of CBS, he goes, I just fell in love with Nick Saban in Alabama and Idaho. And so I decided to come down here and support the basketball team. I was in the area, so I bought tickets, and here I am.
Yeah,
so
good for him.
Austin and Idaho are the first two. Then I talked to a guy from Northwood. So it works out. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's about the breakup of enrollment right now. 2 out of state and 1 in state.
Yeah, I was about to say Austin and Idaho is not exactly East Toboga and Pine Level, Alabama.
When I was a kid, I'd watch Alabama football, and it was Red Bay, or it was Satsuma, or Pritchard, or from Birmingham. There was never any, very rarely was it Austin or Mater Day or any of that stuff.
Ryan says Bama needs to get off to a hot start so the momentum can favor Alabama. I agree with Ryan. If you could dictate the pace of this game, because if Alabama gets off to a hot start, it increases the chances that this game will play high, like the odds makers think. Again, the total in this game is 173.5, which is the highest on the board in all the Sweet 16. I think if Alabama could get this game in the 90s or 100s, they would much rather play it that way. So if you get off the hot start, it increases the chances you're able to get it there.
And that's just a smart basketball breakdown on his part, because he knows if Alabama gets off to a hot start, that means the pressure starts amping up on the number 1 seed, right? The longer Alabama makes it a game, then the more pressure falls on North Carolina, because there ain't no pressure like blue blood pressure, baby, and they've got blue blood pressure.
They do. You were over at the team hotel when the team departed. I don't guess from that you can piece together anything on Latrell Wrightsell. I mean, he got on the bus, obviously.
Well, it was the other way around, actually, Brown. I was at the team hotel when they were coming back from their final shoot-around, and Wrightsell was on the bus getting off to go back into the hotel for pregame. And I sent out some video of them going into the locker room after the shoot-around yesterday, the last one we were open for. And he was leading the way back into the locker room after getting a good sweat in yesterday's shootout. He looked like he had been working just as hard as everyone else coming off the bus. He wasn't limping. He wasn't, in a non-contact jersey. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but he's looks like he's doing everything that everyone else is doing. So we'll see if he plays and if he contributes tonight. But he's with the team. He's in workout clothes. He has been sweating, so he's been doing something all day long. But they're back at the hotel now, where they jumped into their pregame meals and maybe one last meeting. But I guess it was about an hour, 15 minutes ago when they got back to the team hotel from their last shoot around, I assume here at Crypto.
Yeah, my apologies. That would have made very little sense since the tip-off of this game is still 3.5 hours away. They were already leaving the hotel.
I was just going to point out to you, Alabama didn't just get here. Arizona did about 15 minutes ago, and it feels like they're about to play. I was walking out because you texted me, and it was about 4:50 local time. Oh, excuse me, it was about 2:50 local time, and I started walking up from our media area downstairs, and that's where the locker rooms are. And I'm passing the Arizona players, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm all out of whack on time. I said, 2:50, you guys play at 4, right? You're just getting here, and but they were so. Good to be Arizona, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know the setup around Crypto.com Arena. I've only driven by there, but it seems like it's pretty mild for a Sweet 16 game, tipping in about an hour from now.
Well, Brownie, there's a lot of people inside now. I don't know if I don't think I'm flipping around, but
no, you're fine.
We're around the corner here because of a couple of reasons. One, I was using this as the wind. And the other is they've got this street blocked off right here. It's blocked off beside the arena, and it's blocked off for live TV live shots. We're not allowed to go live inside. So I'll walk back around here, TV shots everywhere, down through here, over here, and all the way down through here.
Right.
But this is blocked off, no road traffic. It's for the fans and for the media to come out here outside of crypto. But what was going on and why I was over there was the fact that there was about and he's down in the intersection now. There was this guy with 5 speakers strapped to his body, and he was preaching the gospel at a very high, not that I'm against the gospel, but he was preaching it at a very, very high volume.
Yeah.
And as a follower of Christ, I asked him if he'd wait 30 minutes until our show was over, and he passed on that. So I ran around. But he's moved down a little bit, so I can come back out here in the open. But you can see way down the street, that's where a lot of the fans are gathering to go in. This is player entry and media entry down here.
Gotcha. Yeah. Makes sense. It is Easter weekend, so good time to be preaching the gospel, I guess. Sweet 16 and Easter weekend.
Yeah, exactly. He is risen.
Yes, Bryce says, roll tide, baby. So pumped. Want to see Bama pull out the win. They need Sears to continue to be the best player in the tournament. I talked to the passing today, and I asked him, do you think Mark Sears has got a 40-minute game in him? And passing says, I think he has to. He goes, I think he does. That's who he is. But I think they need him to play a 40-minute game. Be on the court, never come out, no rest for Mark Sears. He plays from tip-off to zeros. I think that's probably the game plan, right?
Well, I will tell you what to watch for is if there is a stoppage in play, like 45 seconds away from a TV timeout, that's when Nate Oates will get a quick substitution, maybe one possession offensively, one defensively before the next stoppage of play. And that's when they sort of steal some minutes of rest for him. And they did that the other night. They don't do that as much during the regular season where they have a pretty bigger rotation. But the other night, like in the game against Grand Canyon, that's what they did. And that gives you an opportunity to steal some minutes.
Yep. Jay Smith wants to see more ball movement, be aggressive on offense, stay out of foul trouble. They'll be fine. That's his thoughts on Alabama. Look, it is, I think we saw that, Jim. Again, we were watching on television, not there, but in the arena in Spokane against Grand Canyon early on, that was as intense as I've seen Alabama play defensively. So hopefully, you keep waiting for that to change and the defense to get better. And I just assume that's the defense you're going to have all year. Maybe they've awakened a little bit and they've got a little more aggressive edge to them defensively.
Well, I will tell you, everyone griped about the officiating.
Yeah.
In the Grand Canyon game. But I was of the impression that actually benefited Alabama because I don't think Alabama is an A-plus defensive team. So even though they had a lot of fouls, I think they let them play pretty aggressive. And that helped Alabama be more aggressively defensively. I think if you get an officiating crew that is quick to the whistle, then I don't think Alabama is good enough to be aggressive defensively without fouling. And that's where they could get into some trouble tonight. So I'm hoping, again, for a crap show of an officiating crew that would let you body check somebody L.A. King style and not go to the penalty box and they don't call the foul on Alabama because that's a good way for Bama to neutralize a guy like R.J. Davis and Baycott. If they're able to grab him, hold him, and bang him around a little bit, if the officials let him play, then that's, I say the same thing during football season all the time, right?
Yeah.
That if we get into a game early on against a Nick Saban secondary and they're letting them hold a little bit and grab a little bit out there on the receivers, game over. Because that's feeding into those 5-star guys, and now I can hold and grab, and you're not going to flag me, game over. So it would help Alabama if you have some officials that let them hold and grab and be a little over-aggressive.
Our coverage from LA presented by MyBookie.ag, code next round. I'll give you the point spreads right now. Those, could always change before tip, but we're closing in on some tip times here. For the early game, UConn still 11.5-point favorite over San Diego State. North Carolina, a 4.5-point favorite over Alabama with a total of 173.5, so a lot of points expected there. Iowa State, 1.5-point dog to Illinois. And the early game where Jim is ticked down a little bit. Arizona now just a 6.5-point favorite over Clemson. there at Crypto.com Arena, MyBookie.ag for all the games. Use code NEXTROUND when you sign on. Get that sign-on bonus at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND, MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Also, don't forget the Autograph app. Download it. It's absolutely free. What it does is it curates and puts together all the info on your favorite teams right there in one app. Tom Brady is the owner. Autograph app, code TNR. That helps us when you sign up. Use code TNR. Very artsy, Joe. Code TNR on the Autograph app. I like that.
We'll go NFL Films. It was a sunny day in Los Angeles as the tide rolled into Crypto Arena.
Chad says, go after Baycott early, take charges, can't be afraid to get in front of him. We talked about that a little bit with Ron Slay. You and I have talked about it. I mean, you got enough big guys, but you got 20 fouls you could give and just see how he reacts to that, right?
Yeah, and what is he, a 68% free throw shooter?
A career, so, yeah. But he's better this year. 68 in his career, 78 this year. So he's done better this year.
Yeah, but I'd make him do it with a numb arm and a bruised leg. I'd play physical with him. I mean, he's going to be running up and down this court like LeBron and Kareem late in their career. He's played so many games there at North Carolina. So I'd make him earn his minutes tonight. I agree with you. Run the bodies out there. I want Alabama to be physical, man. Be physical and make them call the fouls.
Corey says on Facebook, Baycott is going to get his. Reitzel has to play. Got to shoot well. Reitzel has to play. Obviously, look, Alabama, I mean, we've talked about it as much as we can. They're going to be better with Reitzel in there. That's the lineup they want to have. He's a good shooter. Dunaway, though, you made a point about his defense on R.J. Davis.
That's right. He becomes, I think, Alabama's best defender. Arguably, but I think he's the guy that would draw the R.J. Davis. If he was 100%, I think it'd be Reitzel and R.J. Davis. And I thought Ryland Griffin did a good job the other night. I'd rather have Ryland worried a little bit about, scoring some baskets down at the other end too. And I think when Ryland's worried so much about his defense, it may take away from his offense a little bit. Reitzel showed he could do both of them. If Reitzel can play, he's 100%. I think he's on R.J. tonight.
Ryan says, Grant Nelson, big game, no foul trouble. He hasn't been a factor in this tournament. Nelson has not been a factor in this tournament. I didn't get a chance to go watch the interview. You said he kind of he didn't seem to like the fact that you talked about him playing out of position a little bit. I don't think he's ever thought of as a 5, but with that small lineup, he kind of has to play the 5. And in those 2 games, he has not put up points, Dunaway. I think he's got 6 points, 2 boards for the 2 games in this tournament.
Yeah, well, you know I'm not a coach. So I was just echoing what I thought other people had said, that he was playing out of position. And when I said, I'm sure you didn't imagine playing the position you're playing, you're sort of out of position. And he gave me a little mustache sort of rose into an angry formation there. And I was thinking to myself in my head, and you do this when you ask questions sometimes, I was like, oops, I've asked the wrong thing. Let me throw in a compliment at the end and see if I can save this question. And then he gave me an answer where he talked about, and this is a quote, you can go back and watch it. It's not a quote, I'm paraphrasing, but go back and see what he exactly says. But I think he said, I think I can play with any big man in the country. Go back and look at Tulu at Mississippi State, and then the kid from Tennessee. Now, they were 0-2 against Tennessee, but they were 2-0 against Tulu. So we need to have a Tulu-like game if you're a Bama fan. And if he's like he was against Tulu those 2 games, it'll be good. But I agree, it's time for Grant Nelson to have a big game.
I think where I would disagree a little bit is on the foul trouble. You don't want him to foul out, obviously, but if he doesn't have a few fouls, he's not playing Baycott hard enough, right? I mean, I don't think if you got to the end of that game and Nelson's playing with 4 fouls and you're still in the game, I think Nate Oates would say, I am fine with that. That means he's gotten after Baycott a little bit.
That's right, but his problem has been, a quick one, then a second one that instantly goes to a third one, right? And then he's in trouble at that point. And they need his minutes, just for a little bit, to where if Baycott draws him on the other end, that they can sort of do some stuff, which I hope they do, where maybe he can dribble past Baycott. Or if Baycott doesn't come out on him, then he could stroke that 3 in there. That wouldn't bother me at all either if they sort of spread it out and try to get Baycott out on the 3-point line with him and let him dribble past him if he wants to.
Yeah. Ryan says Pringle is the X factor tonight. See if Pringle maybe has a little bit for Baycott tonight. I don't know. I mean, good time to step up, right?
So we got Reitzel's the X Factor.
That's right.
Grant Nelson, Pringle. Sounds like you need a team effort tonight to beat this mighty North Carolina Tar Heel team.
Got a lot of X's. We got a lot of X's. We're like George Strait, man. All our X's. We got a lot of X factors in this game tonight, apparently, for Alabama.
I agree.
Stephen wouldn't mind if Nelson got Baycott in some one-on-one situations. Go dribble at him, right? Make him play a little bit of defense.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if Baycott was a great defender, a guy that could step out on the perimeter and then guard a guy as he drove past him into the basket, don't you think he would be already in the NBA?
Probably.
So,
Yeah, at 6'11". I mean, if he's a legit 6'11", yeah.
So if he had that kind of footwork, don't you think that he would already be in the NBA? So I want to try that. I want to see if we can spread them out. And then, if you're an Alabama fan, you say, let's spread them out and see if maybe Grant can dribble past him and slam one home real quick and then set the tone at that point.
Are you is your arm getting tired? We need to wrap this?
Well, it is getting tired, but I've now found what I hope is a very safe thing to set my phone on a little bit. I've got to hold on to it, but I'm in a different formation now.
Well, I like it, though. We got the crypto.com. As EG says, Jimmy Crypto in his natural habitat.
Yeah. I'm sure there are some people hacking my account right now that will go ahead and save this. It's an easy edit for them up here on the arena. Jim's made us so much money, we renamed the arena after him.
Oh, he's so good. I hope somebody does that. Hey, speaking of EG, she is in Tuscaloosa. She is about to sit in on the Kalen DeBoer press conference. If there's anything you want her to ask Coach DeBoer, she's happy to do it. Just shoot her a tweet at MEG_sports, at MEG_sports, and she'll try to get some questions in to Coach DeBoer after Alabama's scrimmage today. So there you go. So EG over in Tuscaloosa will have some of that on the show tomorrow at MEG_sports if you want her to ask questions to Kalen DeBoer. All right, Alabama is a 4.5-point underdog just before tip here for game one, where Arizona is the favorite. If Alabama wins, they'll get the winner of that Arizona-Clemson game. Somebody asked earlier, Dunaway, and I'm not going to be able to go back and find the comment. They asked, how long has UNC been in town? We know Alabama came straight from Spokane. We've talked about the fact that Clemson went from Memphis back to Clemson. They were there 12 hours and then went to L.A. Do you happen to know when North Carolina? Because they were just playing in Charlotte, so I know they went back to campus.
I think they arrived in town on Tuesday and did a little work here Tuesday, and then everyone had their official media day yesterday. I'll see if I can confirm that, but I think it was Tuesday that they flew into town.
Yeah, no big deal. It was just to ask. I didn't know if you knew. I'm still just so puzzled by Clemson's decision-making there that they weren't prepared just to fly straight to L.A. That one is kind of baffling to me.
I agree.
I mean, again, it's not like you saved money by flying back to Clemson, sleeping one night there, and then flying back to L.A. I mean, what did you save there, right?
Yeah. One night one night hotel.
Yeah.
Not worth it. Somebody would probably gave you one night free if you went on and booked it.
Probably so. All right, so Dunaway will be in the Alabama locker room after the game. We'll have reaction at Next Round Live. At Next Round Live is the reaction. So you can see all of that, and it's going to be late at night, obviously. So stick around, hang around. I'll be back live right here, same place you're watching all these things. You can find me after the game. We would really appreciate it if you share this, hit a retweet, share it on Facebook, give us a thumbs up if you have not already. Followed us and subscribe to us on YouTube. Please do that and set your alerts so you know when we're live. And I'll be right back right after the game is over. Lawway wants to know if you've hit in and out. Yeah,
I have not. It's been one of those situations. Sorry, I covered up the camera. It's been one of those situations that I went to dinner last night with the Crimson Tide Sports Network folks. I got in so late Tuesday that I didn't do it, and I haven't come across an in and out that's been close by. So I have not done that. I had a great meal last night. Everything else, I've been I feel like I've been on the air or shooting something the entire time.
We appreciate the work.
Yeah, this one is not I will always try to make it look like a glamorous trip, but this isn't a glamorous trip, even though it is absolutely beautiful here. The sun was shining in Los Angeles as Alabama moved into the Sweet 16. Yeah.
Jason, half-court offense, spread them out, play some defense. Let's see her shoot 80% of three-pointers. He's expecting a lot of six. He wants him to take 80% of Alabama's three-pointers. They shoot a lot of three-pointers.
Everybody slapped the floor one time. I agree with that. Let's do that.
All right, so next round live, Dunaway will have all that presented by MyBookie and Autograph. MyBookie.ag to play these games. MyBookie.ag, code next round. And you get that sign-on bonus and play once with it, win once with it. It is yours and yours forever at MyBookie.ag. That is when you use code next round at sign-on. Also, the Autograph app, download it. It is free. Tom Brady behind this one, and it has all the team info. You use it. Dunaway, code TNR helps us if you use code TNR when you download it.
That's right. There's very few things that are free in this world anymore. Just an email address and our promo code TNR, and you're looking for something that absolutely helps us out. That helps us out there right there. MyBookie next round, obviously, but Autograph is just free. It's just an email address, TNR, and you got a lot of great content.
The MyBookie QR code is right over there. The Autograph QR code is right there. So we gave you the QR codes too. Very good. And those help us when you use the codes next round at MyBookie.ag and TNR, the Autograph code. By the way, ticket giveaways on that TNR, ticket giveaways. So check that out. Maybe if Alabama ends up in Phoenix, there might be some ticket giveaways, I'm told, there at the Autograph app.
Maybe
all right, Dunaway, final thought. Last time we talked to you before tip, what's your gut tell you?
I ain't never, no. My gut tells me, I think North Carolina is the team to beat in this game. Right? They're a national championship contender, but this tournament is built on upsets, and this would be a big one in Alabama basketball history if they can knock North Carolina off tonight, especially with their two All-Americans. I would assume it's going to go North Carolina's way, but man, to be in the game and have a chance tonight in this setting, pretty darn cool this season for Alabama basketball.
Yeah, Sweet 16 game. The times in this season, it did not seem like this would be a Sweet 16 team. Dunaway showing you the streets outside Crypto.com arena. They are emptied out because Arizona and Clemson is about a half hour from tip, a little more than a half hour from tip. Alabama, about 3-ish hours, 3.5 hours from the scheduled tip. We'll see what time that goes. Dunaway, enjoy the games. We'll see you in the locker room after the game.
All right, guys. I'll try to get one soundbite up very quickly as soon as I get in there, and then I'll interview the rest of the guys, okay?
Yeah, real quick. And I'll be on live right here at these same spots after the game. Everybody enjoy Alabama and North Carolina. We'll talk to you after the game tonight. Thank you for joining us.